Years ago, we moved from Northern California to Southern California. And I don't know if you've ever had to move before. I'm sure you have. It's miserable, right? It's like the only time in your life when you have to touch every single thing you own and put it in a box. Painful. So we packed our house up in Northern California, loaded it into a U-Haul, and we drive it all the way down to Southern California, and we start unpacking. And we're going through boxes, and it's just miserable having to figure out where to put stuff, break the boxes down. You know how all of that works. After about a day and a half of this, my kids had had it. I had it. My wife had had it. We were all done. And so my son and my daughter, they were little at the time, they go, "Dad, let's ride our bikes. Let's get out of here for a while." So we left Mom at home just relaxing, and we jumped on our bikes, and we just started riding around this brand new neighborhood. We go down this one street and we find this really cool park. And there's all these hills and slopes and baseball field and basketball courts, a really cool park. So we're going along this dirt road and we end up on top of this real nice little slope of a hill. Now this slope, we were sitting on the top of this hill and it goes down real gradual like that and it goes off into this baseball field. So it's a perfect hill to ride your bike down. So my son at the time is 8 and he looks up at me and he's like, "Dad, can I ride down this hill?" I'm like, "Yeah, son, go ahead, take off." He gets on his little bike and he goes down this hill. He gets to the bottom of the hill, he slides out, he looks up and he goes, "Number 1," right? My little girl, man, she's 6 at the time. She looks up at me with those big old eyes and she's like, "Daddy, can I ride down this hill too?" And I'm like, "Sure, honey, you can ride down this hill." I looked at her and I said, "Honey, have you ever ridden down a hill like this before?" And she's like, "No, Daddy, I've never done that before." So I said, "Okay, honey, hold on." I lean over and I tighten up her little helmet. I tighten up her little elbow pads, her little knee pads. I'm not kidding. I put leftover bubble wrap on her because I had a feeling this was going to go kind of bad. She had that cute little pink Walmart bike, you know, the one that has the little tassels on the handlebars and the little bell that rings, the little starfish on it. So I look at the bottom of the hill where my son is, and in this whole big, huge field, there's one mound of dirt. One little tiny mound of dirt where a golfer has come up and left this huge mound of dirt. I look at my little girl and she looks up at me and I say, "Honey," I said, "whatever you do, do not hit that little mound of dirt." She looks up at me with her big old eyes and she's like, "Okay, Daddy, I won't hit that mound of dirt." I'm like, "All right, honey, you don't want to hit that mound of dirt because it'll be really bad if you do." She looks up at me and she's like, "Okay, I won't hit it." So I said, "All right, honey, here we go. Get ready." So I put my little hand behind her back on that bubble wrap, and I'm getting ready to give her a little push off the edge of this hill. And so I give her this little push off the edge of this hill. Now, the first half of this hill, you could not have found a more happier little girl. She is flying down this hill on her cute little pink Walmart bike. And she's got her little helmet on and she's just giggling. That's the first half of this hill. The second half of this hill, I doubt if you could have found a more scared little girl. Man, she had her feet off the pedals. The bike is just freewheeling down this hill. She's going about 138 miles an hour. She has flames coming off her helmet. Man, she's ringing her little bell like she's trying to call 911. Ring, ring, ring. There's going to be an accident. Ring, ring. There's going to be an accident. And she is flying down this hill super fast. I'm looking at the top of this hill, watching my little girl fly down this hill at top speed. I'm at the top of this hill, I'm looking down at her and I'm hollering, "No, no, no." I look over at my son and he's looking at her going, "Yes, yes, yes." My little girl is flying down this hill, top speed, on her cute little pink starfish Walmart bike with the tassels, and she hits that little mound of dirt at full speed. It instantly stops her bike with the front tire. Back tire goes straight up in the air And I'm not kidding. If I would have had a video camera right now, there'd be one super cool video on YouTube where a little girl's hopping on her front tire because it looked pretty cool for a second. But then the next second, she's like, and she slides on her back. I'm at the top of this hill. My mouth instantly goes dry. And I'm like, ah! But I look over and I see my son. My little boy is jumping on his bike and he is riding straight towards his little sister. I'm so excited, man, because in my head, in here, I picture him running up to his little sister, hugging her and saying, don't worry, big brother is going to take care of you, right? In my head. I watch my little boy jump on his bike. Yes, I raised him right. He's riding over towards his little sister. Yes, we did good. He jumps off his little bike. He goes running over to his little sister. And what does he start doing? He starts dancing around her going, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. And she's on her little back screaming, I'm dying, right? I'm at the top of this hill and I'm totally panicked. I jump on my bike and I start riding my bike down the bottom of this hill. I get to the bottom of this hill. Let me tell you what this scene looked like. There's dust in the air. There's a little golfer who has a tire mark across his head. He's like, what happened, right? There's a cute little pink Walmart bike on the ground. Little back tire going around real slow. There's a little kid shoe, but there isn't a kid in it anymore. There's a little girl laying on the ground, bubble wrap popping. And she's got that little girl cry. I think it was kind of cute at the time. But you know what that little girl cry sounds like? The one that's like, ha, 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 ha. Now, I'll tell you this. I thought it was kind of cute because I felt like there was a DJ in her mouth spinning records. You know? And so I'm looking at my little girl and I look down at her and I'm like, honey. I says, why did you do that? And she's like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, calm down, calm down. And she's like, ha, ha, ha. And I asked her again, I said, honey, why did you do that? She raised her little finger up at me and she points right at me and she goes, it's your fault. I said, my fault? Why is it my fault? She looked up at me and she goes, because you told me about that little mound of dirt. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, I started looking at it. And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And I learned a life lesson right there. Understand this. Whatever we put our focus on, whatever we put our concentration on, that's what we're going to start going straight towards. When you see runners running a race on any kind of professional level, they're running, you never see them look back. They're always looking forward towards the goal. My little girl, all of us learned a lesson that day. Whatever we put our eyes on, whatever we put our focus on, that's what we're going to start heading straight towards.